Hello, welcome race fans to round 4 of the Ferrari versus Lamborghini Challenge on Project Cars 2, presented by ORC, the online racing collective, aka. Today we are at Hockenheim, historic in Germany. The date is November 29th, and we are racing at 1 p.m. So you see we've got beautiful clear weather today for the track. We've got 11 drivers on tap for you. So we've got, let's go through the list really quick. What we can see is a random grid. We've got Pharmacide starting on pole in the black, Dime Racing number, I think it's 111, Lamborghini GT3, Huracan GT3. We've got Irving 104 in the multicolored, I forget what the sponsor is on that one, multicolored Lambo Huracan. We've got Dieterman 67 in the red and black Lamborghini there. And then we come to our first of our Ferraris. We've got Black Ghost in the red 61 Ferrari, ORC Comet in the number 31 collection yellow, bright yellow there, Ferrari GT3. And we've got Arn Lamp in the Capper Sky green and white Ferrari, ORC Speedy Jab in the black, white, and turquoise blue Huracan, Lamborghini Huracan. Then we've got Rooster. Where's Rooster at? I see him up there. Rooster's in the black and red Lamborghini Huracan. CLP. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's backwards. Rooster is in the red and blue. Ferrari GT3 Customs, or CLP Customs, is in the black and red Lamborghini Huracan. We've got Trev. He's back there somewhere. The map's kind of in the way. In the S&P Racing Ferrari, and the back of the field, unfortunately for this race starting out, is Yankees fan, ORC Yankees fan in the bright yellow, highlighter yellow and blue Lamborghini Huracan. So just go over points really quick for our previous races. We've got Arm Lamp in the lead with 173 points, ORC Speedy Jab in second place with 143, ORC Yankees fan in third place with 131. And then we've got a tie, actually, for fourth with ORC Comet, ORC Black Ghost at 107. Irvin 104 with 100 points. Pharmacide with 93. Dieterman 67 with 83 points. Rooster with 71 points. As far as the manufacturer championship is going so far, we've got Ferrari leading by 3 points, 497 points, to Lamborghini's 494. So right now we're just going to jump on board. We're going to start the race in the cinematic cameras with ORC Yankees fan. So let's get to it. Guns are rising, everybody's getting ready for starts. And here we go, we're racing. ORC Speedy Jab myself gets a good launch out of there. Oh, there's a little bit of touch, I think, between Rooster and looks like CLP Customs. Coming into turn one, let's see if everybody makes it through okay. Very nice. Now let's go on board really quick. With Rooster, and I want to go with Chase Cam here. So coming into the first chicane, everybody looks like they're spread out pretty well. Our brake lights ahead, Rooster. Rooster gets on the grass. Oh, hits the Capper Sky of Arm Lamp into, looks like Comet is in there. Yeah, now they're taking out the barrels. There goes Yankees fan. Ooh, taking a little barrel, a bale of tires with them. That was really unfortunate. Let's pause that really quick. We're going to examine this just a tiny bit. I don't think there's anything that Rooster did, but let's look really quick to see what the catalyst for that was. Everything's good here. Let's pause it right there really quick. I back it up just a tiny bit. So you can see Arm Lamp in front of him with Black Ghost right next to him, and we've got ORC Comet on the left side here in the yellow Ferrari. So Arm gets on the brakes, and Rooster does a good job of getting on the brakes early as to not... This is a problem when we start the races, is everybody, Constantine is up in the first... everybody's just starting out, so everybody's really close to one another. We haven't had a chance to spread anything out yet. So we see this Constantine effect here. So let's go forward a little bit here at low speed. So it looks like right there, it looks like Rooster was really afraid that he was going to bump into the back of Arm Lamp. So rather than try to plow into him and cause a scene, he tries to take evasive action and gets his tires on the dirt, or on the grass. And I think that just takes over, like it just spins him. And unfortunately, what he was trying to avoid right there actually happens anyways. And then unfortunately, you see Orsi comment on the outside there. He gets involved in it too, and there's 3 Ferraris all taken out right there in the first major chicane. And then trying to get on power really quick, spins it, really easy to do. I know something's coming up, so I do remember the race. This was a couple weeks back already, so sorry, just getting to it. But we're going to go on board with Yankees fan, because I think something's going to happen next with Yankee, if I remember correctly. So let's, unfortunate with Rooster, but again, that's not his fault per se. It was just a mistake, trying to avoid somebody, taking that evasive action, getting on the grass, and the grass took over from there. So Rooster, when you watch this, sorry buddy, I gotta show it. We have to go over all these things, and it's more of just a learning thing for everybody, as well as yourself. So sorry. I know you felt really bad about this incident, but it really wasn't a big deal. Stuff like this happens in racing, in real life, and on the sim world, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just move on from there. So let's get on board with a Yankees fan here coming into the second chicane. You see he's lost a little bit of ground, but remember he started way last, so I think he's already up to 6th. So he's actually gained a lot of ground with that kerfuffle there in the first chicane. So it comes into the second chicane here. A nice job taking a lot of curb. And then right here just gets a tank slapper, and then Customs has nowhere to go, unfortunately, and boots him into the sky realm. So he waits right here for, there's Comet, and I forget who that was right there, maybe Trev coming through. So let's pause it right there really quick. So that was unfortunate from, let's go on board with actually hang on, let's go on board with Customs on that, because I do want to see it from his perspective and see the evasive action he tries to take from that. Now, if I remember correctly, after the race, or during the race, Customs said he got no damage. So somehow he got away with that scot-free, whereas you see from that previous clip, Yankees fan rolled and got tons of damage. So let's see it from this angle here. He's falling behind, no problem. Sees the tank slapper. Oh yeah, tries to get off the throttle there, even brakes, and then just has nowhere to go. So unfortunately that CLP Customs was involved in that, had nothing to his making, but I guess fortunately for him, he didn't get any damage. Alright, so let's pause it right there. Oops. I do believe there was an incident with Pharmacide coming right up here, so let's get on board with him. He's in 4th place right now, look at the leader, top 3 right in front of him, well in touch with his race. Comes in here just too hot, gets it on the grass and spins it. So he waits for 1, 2, 3. So 3 drivers go by, he tries to get back on the track, and then, oops, 1 spin, and then, oops, another spin. So again, we mentioned it, really easy to do on these tracks, we've seen it before. So now he sees other drivers coming, he just stays still. So, I mean, a ton of respect, you gotta give it to Pharmacide. I mean, this is ultra frustrating. 4th place, on for a good, here comes Yankees fan limping through, on for a good result, and then just spins it a couple times trying to get back on. So sorry again, Pharmacide, to show you there. So let's go on board with who's our first really damaged car. Should be Armed, I think. So let's see if Armed Lamp is going to come in the Capra Sky Ferrari here. You see he's looking at the back of, I think that's Diedelman right in front of him. Doesn't look like the car's tracking any differently, so maybe he got away with that without any damage. He does not pull into the pits. Let's go on with our next Trev. No, Comet. Okay, here comes Comet. So Comet was involved in that, and yeah, look at the tracking difference. So he's having major problems trying to control this car and just doing his best to just get around the track. So unfortunately, right off the bat, through none of his own making, just a mistake, he's got to go into pits now and get that damage repaired. I'm not sure how much time. I wish it would say how much time, but unfortunately we don't happen to see that. Yeah, he comes in the pits. Let's see if he gets in there nice. Got something going on behind here. I just saw on the radar, and well, Yankees fan is around. Okay, let's see that really quick. Now remember, Yankees fan dealing with an extremely busted car too, so let's see this. So Comet's in the pits in front of him. The Yankees go really slow and just understeer straight off. Hits that, and then slides around. Sees somebody coming, so just stays still. Doesn't move, and allows Pharmacide, looks like, to get around him. Really slow getting back on the gas. That's interesting too. I wonder if that's just still the damage of the car. I'm not sure with that one. That's kind of interesting too. Yankee in the pits too, probably a lot of damage too. Let's go on board. So let's go on board with myself in second place here. Because I remember this, yep. Irving just gets a little too much in the lead, spins out, and now I take over the lead. But I've got close attention from the car behind. So I've got Biederman now right on the back, and we'll stand him for a second. And look at this perspective. I go to defend this corner. This is an interesting corner, and it catches out a lot of people. A lot of curb for me on the front. And Biederman just nice and easy jumping through. We've got third place here, right behind two, and that's Irving has recovered from that spin, and you know, in the grand scheme of things, hasn't lost a ton of time. Yes, he did lose the lead, but it looks like he's going to stay. Looks like he's still got people in the pits, so he might be moving now. So that was what, probably 45 seconds to a minute pit stops, I think, for those guys. That's unfortunate. Puts him way on the back foot. Irving coming around the stadium section here. Let's go on board with. Actually, I missed it already. Okay, so I know a few things that happened in this race, obviously. So, where is it? Okay, we're gonna go on board with Ghost. Ghost is already ruined, but so we're gonna go backwards here. So this is an incident we took a look at, and yeah, you guys will see what happened here. But it's coming into the second chicane, which is where it seems a lot of the action is, as Ghost is just letting these guys by as he goes backwards. So here's where the second chicane happens here. So let's back this up a little bit. And I want to look at it. Ooh, it's really far. How did I get that far back? Okay, Ghost out of the first chicane here. So I want to be on. Oh, so Customs is already coming through here. Okay, so let's take it from here. So Customs got a really good run, got the slipstream from Ghost, and then decides to come around and coming in a second chicane. Almost goes out there. Puts a tire on the rear, but you can see clears them right now. So Ghost in here, you can see from this angle, you don't see anything. So there's a spinner up in front. So let's go back and let's look at it from Ghost's perspective here. So we saw Customs clear them. So let's go on board with Ghost right here. Alright, Ghost coming in. The chicane. Customs stays well to the left side here. Ghost takes a little bit of that a little bit of angle on the right side, which is the way to enter this corner to straighten it. You can see he's lined up for the exit right now more than anything else. So let's play this. And interesting, you know what I noticed about this replay, just looking at it before, is I don't see any brake lights from Ghost. Now, I'm sure he was braking, but I don't know why it's not showing that. I wonder if that's just one of those glitches where you see damage and it's been fixed and brake lights on, stuff like that. But you hear him downshifting, and then it just seems like he just goes straight, ahead and into the wall and gets tons of damage, unfortunately. He comes on track here. We're going to pause it here because I know there's another incident right here coming up. So let's back it up a little bit. Let's see. So Armed maybe saw that, comes in, and then Ghost comes right back on the racing line. Armed tries to go around him and looks like nudges him a little bit off the track there. But that was an interesting incident. So you guys tell me what you guys think with that. What happened? I don't know why it doesn't show the brake lights for Ghost. And oh wait, I forgot too. It looks like there's a blue dot on the left side. I think that is Brewster who quit out. He felt extremely bad for taking out a couple of the guys. And then it looks like we got a spinner in front of us too. Who was that? Looks like Dieterman right in front, or is that CLP? Okay, that's Customs just coming in. Let's see that really quick while we're right here. So Customs comes in. Looks like just gets the lock on, and then really glitchy spin actually. So Customs around and coming on track. And looks like you cut off somebody right in front right there. And that's Trev. Okay, so Trev had mentioned this. I hadn't seen it yet, so this is actually the first time. So Trev had mentioned that Customs had re-entered the track unsafely. And unsafely, is that even a word? did not safely re-enter the track after spinning. So this is a good teaching example right here, because this is a great example of, this is Trev coming in, taking his normal race line like that. You see the other car is way off on the left side there. Now this is a good example of what not to do. Customs should have definitely waited, because he does not have a right to the track right now like Trevor does. So Trev's coming through here, and he's just minding his own business. And then you'll see what happens here. That's we'll take this off because I don't like all that stuff there. And then he just comes right on, and then Trev has to get out of the gas, and then maybe even brake, and then Customs takes that spot. So Trev should have been allowed to go through that. Customs should have waited and been more patient. This is one of those things where you just have a spin, you're frustrated, and you may not be totally aware of your surroundings. I think that's totally understandable, but not condoned, obviously. We want to make sure we enter the track safely. So take that as a good example right there, guys, of how to not enter the track after a spin. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Oh, it's actually an arm lamp right in front. Looks like had a little issue. Customs able to get around him safely, and Trev now looking at the back of arm lamp. And I think what position we're in, 6th place right now, Trev. All right, so that's all the things or the notes that I had written down from the race that I remembered. So now we're just going to go on board, and we're going to take a look at the field. Let's go and we're going to start in the back and see what the V is relative. Or maybe we'll start in the front and go backwards. Maybe that's kind of a better idea. All right, so lap 3 right there. You can see we're 5 minutes into the race. I've got Orsi, Speedy Dad, myself. I'm coming around the first chicane with a tiny little gap there. We've got a 2-second gap to Dieterman, 67. But it looks like he's catching under the draft, maybe? He is coming faster for some reason. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. We do have restrictors right now for the top 3 in the championship. So, like I mentioned before, we've got Arm Lamp, Speedjet, and Yankee. So, all 3 of us have restrictors right now. So, we're down on horsepower. So, you see that gap coming down. You see how significant it is. So, let's actually go on board with Dieterman right now and look at this gap coming down. So remember, it was a little over 2 seconds, just slightly over 2 seconds, and now coming in here, we're down to 1 second. So he was able to catch up 1 second in sector 2, it looks like. He's got close attention from Irving right behind. So Dieterman 67 in 2nd place, following myself, Speedjet, Orsi Speedjet in the lead. Let's go down the list here. We've got Irving 104 with a multicolored, again, Hockenheim GT3. After that spin out of the lead 2 laps ago. Like I said, he's still in touch, so he's coming up to the leaders right now, and still on that podium position. Looks like we've got somebody in the pits right now too. I don't know who that is. Let's see. That's Black Ghost getting his fix after hitting that wall, so he's going to be in there for quite a while. Again, I wish it'd really say how long. Let's go back to, now we've got Customs in 4th place coming around the stadium section here. And comes to the last couple corners of this lap, and it looks like, yeah, on the map you can see on the top right. Ooh, he takes a spin right here. I'm telling you, I always jinx people. I get on board with them and they spin. And this race already happened, so obviously it's not. Oh, and actually that's another, let's see if you cut Trev off again on that one. Looks like that one's okay. Yeah, he doesn't cut off Trevor for that one. It does almost come really close to Arm Lamp. But Arm Lamp is through safety, and now we got Black Ghost coming out of the pit on the right side. And then, hang on, he just blipped. He just quit out of the race. I'd forgotten about that. Black Ghost quit out of the race and is gone, so he's not. And he was doing so well in the championship too. I think he was in 4th, tied for 4th right at that time with Yankee and Helmet. So. Sorry, let's go back on board with Arm Lamp and Customs having a battle. Customs able to go around him because of that power deficit that Arm Lamp is carrying for restrictor rewards for being so fast and consistent in the championship so far. So let's go on board with Arm here, looking at the back. Let's look at that time here. 7 tenths, 8 tenths. Yeah, so he's just losing time even in the draft. The Ferrari with that. I think it's 26 horsepower, something like that, down. But look how much deeper he's able to go. So the balance of the Ferrari I've mentioned before in the previous rounds is a little bit easier to manage than the Lambo. But Probably that power deficit too, that kind of helps in some places, and that would be a good example of that. Pepsi sign on the left, gratuitous Pepsi display, not for me. So we got Trevor right behind, let's go on board with him. Looking at the back, coming into this chicane portion here. We've been working with Trevor the last couple of races. Me specifically, I've been doing some laps with him, and he's getting so much better. So congratulations, Trev, on your dedication, and you're getting a lot smoother. And that brings me on to the next one, which is Pharmacide. Same thing with Pharmacide as well. Still got to work on his brake pedal. I sent him a brake mod. We have the same Logitech D920 wheel that comes with that weird, like, stiff rubber piece in the brakes for some reason. So I upgraded my own, and then I gave it to Ghost, who has the same wheel, and then now Pharmacide, I sent it to him. We just have to get it on there, so that way he doesn't have to stomp on the pedal and feel like he's driving like a 1920 vehicle with no brake boost or anything like that, or power brakes. Alright, so it looks like we've got Yankees fan behind in 8th place right now, almost 10 minutes into this race. Yankees fan had a ton of damage, remember. Looks like the car looks good, so it actually fixed the damage on this, it looks like. Coming into the chicane portion too. Nice and smooth from Yankee. Nice and smooth on the power, no dramas. Car looks good in this livery. It's Kosecki, that's right. Kosecki is the name, and Pirelli for this car. Okay, so now we've got Orsi Comet in 10th place here, with Rooster still showing, even though I know he quit out, so that's interesting, he's still on the board, whereas Yankees fan, Black Ghost, completely was gone. So Orsi Comet, unfortunately, it was just unfortunate place at the wrong place at the wrong time incident, finds himself in last place right now, but I'm pretty sure he works himself up the field later in the race. Drivers still have to take their mandatory pit stop. So the pit window for this series, I mentioned before, but we'll go ahead and anybody who's new to the channel, just check out this one for the first time. We will go over it again. So we've got 6 rounds of the championship. It's Ferrari versus Lamborghini GT3. So only 2 cars, obviously, to choose from. We've got the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, and we've got the 488 Ferrari GT3 we're looking at right now with Comet. So we'll ride on board him for a little bit as he continues to just put in the time, put in the laps. And I will tell you, just to talk about it right now, this is one of the most difficult positions you find yourself in. I've been there myself, and Comet's in it right now. Super fast pace, and can't do anything with it because of an accident right now that took him out. Again, Rooster, sorry to keep mentioning it, but this is the key. It's not your fault. It's just a mistake, and everybody understands that. But it's circumstances outside of your control. You can control your pace, you can control that stuff, but stuff happens in racing. And this is the key, is to hold your own, get back into a rhythm, use that pace that you have. And that's what Comet's doing right now. And this is really hard to do. Right? Again, I've been there, I'm sure everybody on here, if you're a sim racer, has been there too. Holding your nerve and continue on the race, and remember that, it's not always about winning, it's about, having that good race with somebody, as well as continuing the championship as well. There's so many more factors than just that one part of the equation. So hats off to you, Comet, to Yankee, to everybody else who's been in that position, particularly in this race, you guys, to continue on, your eye on the prize, just keep going. Because we're obviously, the biggest thing we're doing this for is for fun, right? All right, there we go. There's my soapbox spiel for the race. So let's see if I can look at the map and see any. We might have to go up, but let's go towards CLP. Looks like Arm Lamp is right behind Custom still right there. A little bit of a gap to tread. Let's look at the top 3 right now. Oh, as we come on board with an attempted pass by Dieterman, it looks like coming back at him. But Irvin stays on the right side, and Dieterman backs out of that move. And you can see there, you can barely see myself or see Speedy Jeb up there coming into that right-hander. So quite a gap now to Speedy. 10 seconds speed in half a second and under for Irving. So this is a battle on track to watch right now. So let's go on board with Dieterman since he's right behind, so we can see this play out a little bit. This is the closest action on track right now. Coming into the stadium section right now. This is still the same track. Obviously, we're on the historic Hockenheim. but this is still the same part of the section right here that hasn't changed, the stadium section here. Customs there coming around the last corner, a little wide of the apex. Wow, giving up a lot of time there. As Irving, Dieterman, not Customs, this is Dieterman's car. It gives up a lot of time. Now you can see Irving coming to the first corner there. Dieterman with a lot of curving over the exit. So let's go ahead and go on board. Let's go on board each of the drivers here in the cockpit cam. This is the cam that I use. So it's kind of cool to see the inputs. So let's go on board with myself, Orsi Speedy Jab, for the remainder of this lap, and then we'll switch over to each driver and get you a first-person view of what each driver does. So I'm not going to comment too much on this. I just want you guys to watch the inputs and to look at everything. There's almost a full lap on board with myself, Orsi Speedy Jab. Let's go on board now as Irving comes across the line here. Now, from what I can tell, obviously Irving, and I don't recall, sorry guys, I need to definitely write this down, but I'm pretty sure Irving is on a controller. And you kind of see the way the steering wheel reacts with that. There's a lot of counter steer, there's a lot of fine adjustments. Oh, he's got 8.9 fuel, that's interesting. So it looks like the strategy from Irving is to be light lighter for the race rather than and filling up the fuel on his pit stop when he comes to his 4-tire mandatory pit stop. So that's interesting. That's good. Good note. I hadn't noticed that before. If we can rely on the screen, but yeah, let's just listen to a lap. Let's watch his inputs. Let's see what we see on this one for Irving. 104 in second place. And I think that really points out right there is the difference between the controller versus wheel is the throttle application when you come into a corner like that. You can see the difference is the wheels have to be completely pointed differently, or the steering wheel has to be before you can get on power. Now he can flick the thumb, really quickly left and right, so the counter steer I think is easier, but it's just the smoothness, and you can see that on the wheel here. Versus, myself when you saw me, and we're going to go back to our next driver here in a second and watch their inputs too, as I got my alarm going off in the background. Alright, so let's go on board with Dieterman 67 here, coming across the start of his lap. Again, let's say, I think it's a glitch because look, he's got 8.9 fuel left too, so I think that's a glitch. That's a bummer. I really wish that stuff. Ooh, actually Irving right in front there just took a spin off the corner number 1, and now Dieterman smells blood in the water. This is a shark right here. There's a great white coming after its prey right here, like a seal. Irving stays to the left. Interesting. He didn't want to defend that line. I think he figured that that he had messed up and just allowed Tiedemann up the inside. I'm pretty sure it's clear right now. It takes a semi-defensive line. Let's see how that works out. Yeah, pinched a little bit, and then he's around. Oh, dang. And a big accident there with Irving coming right into him. Okay, so that's got to be damage for both of them. Head-to-head collision on that. Again, that shallow line, let's take a look at that really quick, and I want to go to a different view because I want to see if he hit the brakes too late. Now, obviously, his line is compromised right now because he took a kind of a mid-defensive line. You can see there on the right side of the car right there. You can see Irving still right behind him. So we're looking at this black sign pretty much on the right side where he brakes. So hopefully the brake lights will show. So right here. Okay, so almost just a tad bit late, but I think it's a combination, just a tad bit late and just that midline versus taking, and giving up about 6 feet on the left side. It just affected that entry. So I didn't know about this incident. That's interesting. So again, just a racing mistake. Irving was probably bummed about that, but not mad. His car's tracking left and right now. Looks like Tiedemann's is pretty straight. So stay on board with these guys until they go, and they might have to go in the pits. Let's check on the time, actually. So we're 18 minutes into this race. Let's see, the pit lane open, this 45-minute race, the pit lane opens, so the pit window opens. Oh yeah, look at, Irving's all over the place right now. So he's really fighting that car as there's tons of damage on the front of the car. It doesn't look like Tiedemann's doing that. So Tiedemann might have got off fairly clean on that, which obviously they can't get the physics all right all the time on this. So it's like Irving came off worse on this one. So let's see. The pit window opens 15 minutes into the race and closes 15 minutes before the race. So right now the pit window is open. So now they can take their mandatory 4-tire pit stop and then get this damage fixed without making an extra pit stop in the race. And it looks like somebody's in right now. Let's see if I see anybody falling down the order on this top screen there. Alright, Irving should come into the pits right here. Yeah, there he goes. Irving in the pits, and here comes Tiedemann, yeah. So Tiedemann must have some kind of issues, obviously with his damage too, and now the pit window's open, they're safe to come in. And he's on his pit lane speed limiter now. So Tiedemann, check this out. That's your cone right there, your pit lane speed limiter. So maybe you're trying to be safe, but you definitely can gain a lot of time on people actually by hitting the pit lane speed limiter right at those cones, or not right at those cones. You want to slow down before that. Look, there's Ghost's car in the garage undulating by himself. But Tiedemann, anyways, you can actually hit the brakes right before that, hit the pit lane speed limiter, and keep it on. That way you don't have to modulate the throttle on its own. But I think you lost a lot of time there, which you probably can gain. So let's check on Armed, who's now coming around. And since I don't have this up, I can't see who is taking their mandatory pit stops. So I know my personal strategy is I like to wait as long as possible because you never know when stuff's going to happen. You may spin out. Irving there is coming out on the right side there. So it looks like Irving's car had less damage, it looks like, from that altercation. Now you look, yeah, I see Tiedemann moving in the background there. So Irving gained a lot of time there. Tiedemann lost a lot of time, and I think that had a lot to do with that. Too early in the pit lane speed limiter, as well as the damage fix, obviously. So let's go on board here with Irving, who's right looking at the back of the arm lamp here. Let's watch this for a little bit because this is going to be could be a spicy battle here. Irving's tires are a little cool. I don't know how I set him up. That's he makes them look really hot, really high. Each driver preference is different when you're coming in and out of the pits. But he should, with that power differential, arm lamp is still really fast. Obviously, that's why he's still leading the championship, even with his restrictors. A little bit of kick up there. Let's see how much he straight lines this. So Irving preferring to stay kind of away from those bumps on that to not unsettle the car. I will tell you, from personal experience of driving this track and hitting those, you do get gun shy sometimes. I came into that chicane at one point, hit that left curb, it spun me around, as well as the right curb, it spun me around in practices and stuff. and you do second guess yourself coming into those corners. So you might take that chicane 100 times, but it only takes that one time to really throw off your game and have you think like, maybe should I not, you know. So it's really key, I think, in identifying exactly what happened when you hit that curb. Were you on the brakes too hard? Did you have some lock-in on the steering wheel? You know, what contributed to that spin? So self-analyzation is really key when you're looking at this stuff. And don't be afraid to, you know, call yourself out. I mean, that's the point. That's how you're going to get better. You're going to look at those mistakes and look at those things, and once you start really being honest with yourself and identifying and going, yep, I did that. Like mine, for example, my big thing I'm working on is pressing the brakes too hard. So I'll get in my brake zone, and if I have that kind of little bit of doubt that I might miss a corner, or you know, so let's say I go from a pressure of 50% brakes, you know, which is probably normal, 50 to 60%. Going into the corner, which is what I want to be, but then I think I can't, I'll apply maybe 20% more. So what happens is the nose dives down, and then you get unseated in the rear, unweighted in the rear, so the car comes around. So I'm trying to identify that and be soft on the pedal. What I think is key, consistent and soft on the pedal. So that's my big thing I'm working on. So you guys have to tell me if you guys identify with that, or if there's something else that you guys notice with your driving. You know, what you're trying to work with. I'm curious to see, you know, if I get any answers what everybody says. So let's see, what do we got as far as lap? We've got almost 25 minutes into the race. It's level 24. 22 minutes left of the race. We're almost near the halfway mark here, or past the halfway mark. And we've got Speedy Jab in the overseas Speedy Jab in the rear. We've got Customs, CLP Customs in second, Arm Lamp in third, Irving 104, who we're on board with right now, in fourth. Dieterman 67 in 5th, Pharmacide in 6th, Treva Eva in 7th, Orsi Comet in 8th, and Orsi Yankees Fan in 9th, with Rooster, XXX there, in 10th, quit out, on lap 1, if I recall. And Ghost was in the race too, but he quit out and I think left the server completely. So maybe the reason why is Rooster's watching the race, I don't know. I haven't seen whether that's it. So let's go through. This time let's go from the... Oh, we actually didn't, so I'm sorry. Looks like we got a battle here between Orsi Yankees Fan and Orsi Comet. Don't know if Comet made it through first. And then now Yankees Fan is coming back on board. But remember, Yankees Fan, see, and that's a good example right there. Remember, he was talking about that spin that Yankees Fan had early in the race? And he completely avoided both of those curbs now. So he's a little gun shy. So this can actually hurt you, I think, more. It's kind of important what they say, get back up on the horse when you get bucked off, right? You might be scared of it, but you got to get back on. You got to kind of do the same things that you did before. Because out of those 100 times, and you messed up once, those 99 matter more than the ones, right? But easier said than done. All right, looks like Yankees Fan lost a little bit of ground there to Orsi Comet, but you'll see Yankees Fan drop a little bit more as Orsi Comet, I think, has. Well, I think both these drivers have a restrictor, but and it should be almost comparable. And the horsepower is pretty comparable here with non-restrictors. Looks like we got somebody coming into the pit lane. Let's see if we can see. That's Pharmacide. I jumped on the right spot. Pharmacide coming to his pit for his mandatory pit stop, I imagine. I wish you could see the pit stuff too, but again, we can't. So let's see. Who were we on board with before we cut away to our tangent? So let's just start on the back. Let's go on board with Pharmacide now. So let's go on board with Yankees Fan, and I want to go in the cockpit view so you guys can see. Yankees Fan is on the wheel. He's on the Thrustmaster TMX something, blah blah blah. So I don't remember what wheel he's on. I'm sure he'll tell me. He probably tells me. Orsi Comet as well is on a wheel with the Thrustmaster as well, but a different model than the Yankee. I think Yankee is an upgraded model, if I'm not mistaken. Whoa, what just happened? What? This is weird. I can't explain that. I don't think Yankee quit. He's falling down the corridor. Okay, this is weird. let's go on board with Pharmacide then. So again, Pharmacide is using the Logitech G920 with the terrible pedal, which we will fix. Pharmacide, you need to get on it, buddy. Come on, I promised support. I gave you the product. Come on, work it now. Pharmacide with a drastically different line coming into that corner. Got a little bit of curb on the right side, but really, really timid and tried to stay away from those curbs. So again, just maybe he had a bad experience and he's trying to avoid those curbs at all costs. Got somebody coming out from behind him, but it is a red. So is that Speedy Jab? Is that myself? It is. Horsey Speedy Jab coming up to put a lap on Pharmacide. So I think at this point I hadn't gone into the pits yet. But anyway, let's stay on board with Pharmacide here. You can see on the right there, you see a tiny little blip of the blue Huracan I'm driving coming up on the rear of him. Let's see where it is. Nice line through there, Pharmacide. Now, all the drivers were in a party chat where we're racing, so we're always in communication with each other. So usually Pharmacide will say something like, I'm just going to stay to the right, and you come in. You see that blue Huracan. Oh, and I spin in the background. I forgot about that. So I think that was one of those things. And look, Pharmacide, being such a gentleman, just waits on the front straight. He could have definitely kept going, and I could have capitalized. But I did like a half spin there. Didn't lose too much time, but I think it was just an issue of just trying to brake too hard, make sure Pharmacide had enough space, and then just lost it on the rear. Okay, so let's go on board here with Comet. A really wide line coming through that sweeper, which is interesting. I haven't seen too many wide lines like that. Usually favor the right side and hug that apex a little more because the corner's cambered, and it kind of sucks the car in. So it looks like he's coming up to, is that Dieterman in the front of him, it looks like? Possibly. I'll have to see, but watch the inputs again for ORC Comet. Again, I'll try to just do small commentary as we watch him. Alright, sorry, went and grabbed a drink too. Well, I was in it. To keep these silky pipes golden for you guys during this stream. Or recording, whatever you want to call it. Race broadcast, that's what we're calling it. Alright, so here we got, actually, I think that's a Ferrari. That might be Treva Eva up there. Looks like it is. So, ORC Comet coming up to Treva Eva. Let's see what happens here with the negotiation of this traffic. Now, Trev does not have any restrictor, so this is a battle for position. So Trev has every right to fight this. But I think he understands too, and look at that, ORC Comet understands he doesn't want to get close to that, close to him during that chicane. So he actually backs out of the move. Let's watch Trev's entry. Okay, Comet not afraid to take curves, and now he takes that right side. Up on the right. Ooh, Trev was, I thought Trev was right alongside him. Okay. So a good move to overtake that position. Trev, though, doesn't have that restrictor, so look how close he is behind him there. But Trev knows he's not going to go too wide here, so he actually backs out of the move right here, too. So good racecraft shown from both drivers right there, just understanding what's happening, looking on screen, looking at the situation. Looks like Trev in the background just went for a spin coming out of that corner. So Trev now is out of that battle and is relegated now to 7th place. With Pharmacide behind him, so I've got 20 seconds to Dieterman here. We're on board with Comet. And You can see Diedelman's lip now going around the front straight there into turn 1. So that's what 20 seconds looks like relative if you're on track. So we should have, let's see, we are 32 minutes into the race. So again, that's pit lane window open from 15 minutes after the race to 15 minutes before. Coming into turn 1 here for OC comments. Let's go on board with Diedelman here. So he's at 5 seconds to Customs, and with that 22-second gap to RC Comet behind. So he can't, unfortunately, see he can't see Comet, and he can see the 20 seconds, so that's comfortable. But he can see Customs, so there's that carrot there, just dangling right in front of him. Again, just a little bit of corner. Ooh, almost understeered off the corner. It's easy to do there too. Seemed like the Ferrari had a little more understeer than the Lamborghini. But it does depend on, these guys, the drivers are allowed to set up their car, so they're allowed to change, everything that they can inside there to suit their driver preference. Our next series coming up, actually, just to give you guys a heads up, is going to be the Porsche GT3 Challenge, Porsche Cup GT3 Challenge. So we will be driving the GT3 Porsches in here. Starting on January 3rd is the first round. Let's see, where's the first round? I think it's Catalunya in Barcelona. So that'll be fun. All the drivers will be driving the exact same car. We haven't 100% decided if we're going to do restrictor rewards like we did in here for drivers, or if everybody's going to stay the same, or if we're going to do a tiered driving system. Ooh! Oh, that was a great save, wow. Good job, that was a great save. That could have been disastrous on so many different occasions right there. And you can actually see now, look at this. Customs 4.95 seconds, okay. So Diedelman did a really excellent save right there. It looked like he didn't panic. He kept everything going straight and didn't hit the brakes really aggressively like that. Just kind of allowed the car to slow down and maintain control. So it was excellent. I'm glad we were on board for that, Diedelman. Good job. Let's go on board Customs here. He's got 17 seconds to arm lamp, and you saw he's got 5 seconds to Diedelman. And you can definitely see, like I said, the difference. Look at those hands. He's got super fast hands, and his steering wheel is set to, I don't know, 2,000 degrees, and he's got to turn a lot, or he's on a controller. I think it's the latter. What do you guys think? So he's actually, Customs joins us from Greece, actually. I don't recall what city, so Customs, you have to tell me what city you're on in Greece, I can't remember. So we've got some international appeal here. We've got another driver that's joined us every once in a while too, Percy. He's from South Africa. But the majority of drivers come from North America, which is Canada and the United States. And we do have a couple of European guys that have joined us, but nobody right now from Europe in our series. Obviously, trying to get the times for everybody is key. So we actually race on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern to kind of help with that. Look at this, Customs catching up to Irving now. Irving, the gap is 2.4 seconds and a 7-second gap behind to Diedelman. So something happened. Looks like Irving had an issue. Arm lap is now up to second behind Speedy Jab. We're see Speedy Jab in first. We're on lap 17, 36 minutes into this race. You can see it's nice and clear. No rain on the forecast, no that, so we don't have to worry about precipitation. And you see Customs now really pushing it to try to get up to Irving. So this can sometimes happen too, where you actually overdrive the car a lot, and then put yourself in trouble and actually slow yourself down because you're trying really hard. Because I mean, it's so tantalizing. Look, it's tangible now. You can see the car. He's right there. On the other side of it too, from Irving's point of view. Dang, Customs is coming. Like, I can't make mistakes. So that'll make you drive in the rearview mirror a little bit more, and you'll make mistakes and slow yourself down. So there's this interesting cat and mouse, game that happens between drivers on track, and that's why I tell you, yeah, especially in sim racing, obviously you're not physically doing it other than doing your controls and stuff. It's more mental, in sim racing. Real racing is very mental too. It's exhausting. It's not just the physicality of driving in real life and pushing that car to its limits. But it's the concentration you have to have. And it's really no different in here. You've got to concentrate the whole time. You've got to have your head on swivel all the time. Be on the lookout for cars behind. Be on the lookout for cars in front. You know, watch, obviously hit your lines, your brake zones, your turn-ins, your apexes, your exits, all that stuff, your throttle control, brake modulation. I mean, there's so much that comes into play with this. That's why I love it, personally, so much. There's just so much going on. Okay, so customs, let's go, let's stay on board with customs a little bit longer here. Let's go to this view. And then we'll shake it up a little bit. We'll do some customs off the track a little bit, but does a good job of not spinning out. Oh, a glitch in the throttle there somehow. Is he slowing down? Oh, yeah, slow down probably. Duh. Okay, let's go through this all button here because this is kind of cool to go through the cinematic views, and it'll go through hood view, roof view, you know, different stuff like that. So there's no real like extreme close battles right now, so this would be good just to watch the different views and different perspectives that the game gives you, and kind of show you the graphical power of this game. Nice wide angle shot there. Coming around the last corner onto the front straight to I think start lap 18. Nice roof view right here coming into turn 1. Pretty close to the apex, a little bit of runoff. You can get a slowdown there if you go too far, so that was good. A little bit further back, I don't know what camera angle this is. This might be the hood view, but look at the difference in speed. It looks a lot faster on this view, right? And it slows down a little bit when you go to the bumper cam. Oh, this is bad. Yep. Okay, so completely messed up. I don't know what was happening there, but he completely messed up on that entry to that corner, and now he's stopped on track for some reason. I think he was making sure he didn't get a penalty. So luckily he did not take out Irving in front, so that was good. And but now Dieterman's got a charge from behind, and this is a race for a position. Coming to the chicane, a little bit of curve on the right, none on the left, but none on the right. Into the sweeper, Dieterman's still behind, and Irving's right up there in front there. So really cool to see that. Actually, let's go on board with armed here. Actually, let's see if I can see where I can see a battle, the closest battle here. It might be between customs and Dieterman right now. We're going to go through everything. I don't remember Yankee quitting. Okay, so let's go on board with Dieterman right now. As he comes up on the line side of customs, look at those livery paints are almost identical. Hard to tell between the two, except for there's MP Motorsports number 666, which I think is Dieterman, yep, and CLP Customs right behind him here. So let's swap positions now that they have swapped positions. Coming out of the same section here, the last couple corners. Oh, Customs with a really ambitious dive up the inside of that. Looks like some contact was made, but then he backed out of it because it wasn't on. But Customs, we'll talk about you a little bit here. So Customs, really good driver, really fun to race with, but really aggressive. So we did see that in a couple of other things. He's got a run on Dieterman right now, pulls to the right here. And Dieterman's just going to stay to the right, Customs is going to stay to the left, and Customs is going to come to the right here. Now Customs has the preferred line. Actually, he comes across him there to take the real racing line. Let's see if Dieterman has a response to that. Oh, and then comes back to the right. Yeah, so that's another. Oh, I didn't think he was going to slow down again. So that's an interesting thing right there. So actually, Customs. Another thing to talk about, and which we'll back this up because this again is another learning opportunity. So one thing you can do is you can defend your line, but you can't block. So let's start right here. Let's go on board with Dieterman because he's right here, and I do want to change. I want to be able to see the same exact without bouncing back and forth. Let's see. I always like to chase cam for this kind of stuff. Okay. All right, so let's get to the point. So on this one, Dieterman knows he he came out of that corner, was a little slow. Customs had a run on him, got the draft, and then is going to pass him. So Dieterman doesn't fight it. You know, he could have stayed to the right and maybe made Customs go a little bit more around the side, but he knows that he's going to be slow. So I think what he decides to do is just let him go and then get back on the draft and try to repass him. Now, where I have a problem with this part right here is that Custom actually makes 2 racing moves. Okay, so what he does is he gets around him right here, which is fine. He's clear to right now. He's clear to go around him. And then he makes a move to the left. So that's one move. But then he makes another move to the right to defend the corner. Now, I think what would have been more acceptable is to stay on the right side. That's the preferred defensive line anyways, coming into a right-hander. So let's watch this play out from this perspective. So Custom comes back, claims the normal racing line, then makes another move over to the right because he thinks that Dieterman's maybe too close to make that. And you see even here, right at the brake zone. Now normally you should be where Dieterman is with the car on board right here. But Customs is so far because he doesn't want Dieterman to try to come up the inside, so he's protecting that racing line, which he's, again, perfectly able to do, except for he made that little jink left in front of Dieterman before, which it didn't gain him anything, so I don't know why that was made. So again, another teaching point. Let's just move on from there. And you see he actually overslows himself because he has to make that corner, so Dieterman actually has a good run on him and actually is better under the brakes because Customs has to pinch that corner so much to make that brake zone. So if anything, slow. Yeah, he can still retain the position, but he slows himself down and Dieterman a lot on that one. And a little bit of Customs and then Customs spins out there, and the battle is over just like that. But now there may be a battle. I want to pause it right there. I want to get on board with Comet. So Comet now in 6th place, done a great job coming back from the back of the grid after that turn, that lap 1 first turn incident. We got 4 minutes left in the race. It's 42 minutes into the race. So we've only got 3 minutes left in the race, and now Comet is smelling 5th place. So let's see what happens here. What Customs does. Okay, Custom on the track. Okay. But now look at Comet's like, yes, 5th place. I'm sure he said it just like that too, I think he told me. Alright, so now let's see what's happening. So, Customs jinking all over the place. I'm not sure what that's about. He doesn't have any damage that I'm aware of. Actually, he may have. And then spins it again and just gives it to Comet anyways. Okay. He may have damage. Let's actually go back. And let's see if he hit the wall. I skipped to Comet to see the rejoin. Okay. Ooh, he did. Okay. Oops. Okay, spin on the inside. Tries to save it. Dink. Oh. Could have been shock damage, but definitely most likely aero damage. Now let's see how the car is reacting. And then maybe the jinking. Yeah, looks like there's shock damage. Probably right front shock. But could be both. Now these cars are a handful to drive when they have shock damage. Aero damage not so bad, it'll just slow you down on straights, and you don't have like downforce in the corner sometimes. But the shock damage is really bad. Ooh, looks like he just missed a couple gears there, or maybe went down one gear too much. So Custom's trying to salvage this result here. Just lost 5th place, and now it's going to try to keep 6th here. So let's see. No battles. The guys are pretty spread out. Let's go from the top here to finish the race here. Ocean Speed Jab myself coming on lap traffic here. Staying to the inside of this. That's Treva, I believe. Lapping him in 7th place there. So let's see if Trev tries to push him through the corner here. You shouldn't really do that, but you never know. Looks like Trev backed out of the corner, and I'm free to take the regular racing line, and he's free to follow. Alright, awesome. Last one for the arm lamp here coming around. 43 minutes, two minutes left, so we got 37 seconds of speed jab in front in the lead, and we've got 11.8 seconds to Irving behind. Alright, so we got Dito Man 14 seconds off of Irving and 6 seconds in front of Comet. So Comet's coming. Great comeback from this. Don't know if it's too little too late. We'll have to see. And we're getting down to the edge, and we've got Customs now 6.5 seconds off of Comet and 40 seconds from Trevor. So he's just trying to just damage limitation right now. Keep that 6th place. If he goes in the pits and fixes damage with a minute left in the race, that's not going to help him. So, but stuff like this can happen. Oh wow, that was a great job of staying on track. Wow, that was actually pretty incredible. Okay, we got Pharmacide here, 2 minutes off of Treva and 13 minutes ahead of Yankees fan. So yeah, Yankees fan did quit. I forgot that. Still don't remember that. No. Anyway, let's go on board with our leader because it's going to get to the point here where we are going to come across to the. So we're going to go with the all button. We're going to stay on board with myself, ORC Speedy Jab, the leader of this race, coming into that tricky chicane. A lot of curve on both sides and into that sweeper. Kind of weird to commentate over your own driving. But this should be coming up on the white flag lap, if not the checkered flag lap. We'll see with cars after we get through this. There's Treva in the background there in the S&P GT3 488 GT3 Ferrari. And there's my number 6 Gardex Lamborghini Huracan GT3. I love the livery on this car. I love those colors together. They look really sharp. So we get it backwards. We're going to the 6th place most likely. We're coming into the same section here where all the fans are. You can hear them yelling. Waving flags, nice. Let's see if I can. I don't know if they do the white flag. I don't remember. I don't ever look for it. I like this wide shot right here. That's a cool shot. You can see a nice angle and apex of the car. This is it. That's the checkered flag. Although no checkered flag is fine. Alright, that was it, guys. So thank you guys so much for joining the race today. So we had ORC Speedy Jab take the win, allowing 22 laps of historic Hockenheim. Arm Lamp in 2nd place, and we've got Irving 104 in 3rd place. Dito Man in 4th place. ORC Comet 5th place. Great comeback drive for him. CLP Customs in 6th place. Trev Evans 7th. Pharmacide in 8th. Yankees Fan in 9th. Rooster in 10th. And ORC Black Ghost in 11th place. So overall, really good round. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys will join us for the next round here, round number 5. I don't know what happened to that replay. But anyway, so we got 2 rounds left. We got round 5 at Imola. And then we've got Zolder with Light Rain. So that'll be an exciting race. Look forward to hosting that one. So thanks guys for joining us. Again, please leave us a like, comment please on the video. Let me know. And look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a good day.